Hey guys, it's Shawn Ziem, the host of the Webtalk Legends Podcast. This is number 75. We started this last year in January, and it's something about sharing your story. So those that are watching, if you want to be a guest, it's every one of you, we can have an interview and talk and have a conversation because every one of you has golden nuggets to share. It's just taking up that offer and saying, Shawn, let's do this. So a lot of you, again, are going to be on here. A lot of you are thinking about doing it. But if you aren't, if you're just tuning in right now, a couple housekeeping things. Drop a hashtag live. That's the least you can do, right? Hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the share button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you're on the replay, hashtag replay. If you want to go above and beyond, don't just listen to these podcasts that you get involved with. Interact, ask questions, drop a couple of emojis if you like, dislike, thumbs up, the pound, the fire, what have you, so that we know and the algorithm gets into our favor. So without me continuing to talk, let me bring on Dawn Maloney. What's going on, Dawn?
Hey, Shawn. Everything is great over here at the makeup studio. How about you? How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. I appreciate you taking some time to share some value, some massive story that people can learn from, and I'm looking, hopefully they can take some action. That's a lot of times a problem. People don't want to implement what they're hearing. So I definitely appreciate it. We've done this before on other broadcasts, and I wanted to reconnect back with you and bring some more value. So Dawn, can you share with everyone who are you and what do you do?
Well, I am a professional makeup artist and hairstylist. I've been doing this for over 27 years, and I'm also the founder and creator of makeupclasses.com. So I developed my very own extremely unique curriculum, and I teach aspiring makeup artists as well as doing private lessons with beauty enthusiasts, and I teach them professional makeup artistry. And it's been my life's work. I absolutely love it. I love teaching. I love sharing, and I love being an entrepreneur.
We're going to unpack a lot of things you just said. Entrepreneurship for sure, opening up a business, the makeup. Hey, there's people that are watching that will learn some things from you just from our conversation today on that front as well. So I hope everyone's ready to sit back and enjoy what we're going to talk about. Dawn, before we even get into what were you before who you are now? What were you involved in?
That's a great question. When I tell you I've always been a professional makeup artist, I am not kidding. I started my very first job. I was 22 years old. I had my daughter very young at 21, and I needed a job. So I started working for a photographer. I lived in Virginia for a little bit, and my career took off. At the age of 23, I started working for the Sally Jessy Raphael show. I was the makeup artist for all the guests. Yes, Sally had her own artist, and it was myself and a hairstylist. We did everyone else on the show. My career then, once her show was canceled in 2002, I believe, I started working for Maury Povich. And I worked for him until 2004. And sadly, but not sadly, I had to resign from that show because my business at the time took off. So just a little backtrack. While I was working for the Sally show, besides working on her show, I also created my own business doing bridal work. And one of the things that a client had said to me when I was doing a consultation, she said, "Wow, Dawn, you're a really good teacher. You're a good communicator. Have you ever thought about teaching classes?" Now, when I was teaching her and doing her consultation, it was her and her friend, I believe the bridesmaid. They were at my house, my little apartment, and I thought to myself, I didn't say it verbally, but I thought, well, what is the difference between teaching one person or two people versus 10 to 20 people? So I started putting together a curriculum. Now, mind you, while I was working at the Sally show, because I had very little experience, now I had gone to school for broadcasting, but I dropped out. The only makeup experience I really had in TV was what I did with my friends in college for their television projects. So I quickly had to learn. So I took a makeup class in New York, which helped me quite a bit. But I started writing and starting taking my own notes. And I was really processing all my makeovers because I was so desperate to keep this job. It was such a dream job. And I thought, no one can find me out, because I felt like such an imposter that I really needed to learn and figure out, how do I make someone look really great in a short amount of time? Because we shot 2 to 3 shows a day. So we're talking anywhere from 20 to, yes, 60 guests. So I had to work really fast and I had to make these people look really good. So how do you do that? You do it by using an anatomical footprint, anatomical pattern with makeup. So I started writing all of these down, these things down, these observations, as well as lighting, all of the anatomy, just building my business. And I wrote all of these things down. And finally, I had a nice solid curriculum. So I started teaching at an adult school. And my first class, I called them, I said, I would love to teach a makeup class, after, speaking to that bride and thinking I could do this. And I called and the gentleman answered. He said, well, I don't know. We've never had a makeup class. And now this is going back to, I think this was 1999, 2000, something like that. So makeup was not a big thing. Everything was about hair and skin. So it just wasn't in the forefront. And Sephora's were just starting to pop up. And I think Ulta had just opened their doors in 96, I believe, something like that. So the big box stores for makeup just really didn't exist, or there were very few. So he said yes. He said, I'll put it on the registrar. We'll see if anybody takes. He wasn't too promising, and I wasn't either, because I was really young. I don't know, how old was I? Maybe 25 at the time, 26, something like that. And, I was nervous too, but I believe in business. Do things scared, do things trembling, do things terrified, go for it. Don't wait for permission for people to tell you that you can do something. Just go for it. Imposter or not, just do it. And my first class was sold out. I had 10 people. So I did the class. It was $60. I got 30 of it per person. I believe it was a 6-week or 8-week class. So if you do the math, it really wasn't a lot of money.
Yeah, right.
And then the next semester, he asked me, so would you like to teach this again? This was good. We're getting good response. I said, of course, but nail biter. I'm on the phone. I'm really nervous. I'm like, but we have to raise the price. And he's like, okay, what are you thinking? I'm like, $90. I'm like, I get 60, you get 30. And he's like, no problem. Sold out with a waiting list. So I thought to myself, I'm going to get my own space. I'm going to open up my own business. And that's what I did. So I had a very small shop in Nutley, and it grew to a second shop. And from there, I started traveling all over the United States. So then this is going on while I'm working for Maury. And then I said to them, wow, listen, I have so many classes booked. I'm starting to travel throughout the United States now. I would like to resign. And I remember the executive producer saying, you can't leave us. Can you give us 30 days? Can you stay for at least another month? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, because I was making so much more money teaching, selling product, running my own store. And I said, okay, again, nail biter, things that would come out of my mouth. I look back, I'm like, where did I get the guts to do that? I said, okay, I'll do it with one stipulation. For the next month, I need to do all of the makeover shows. So I was actually on the show doing the makeover shows, all those fun before and afters.
Yep.
So that was really cool to be on national, international television. So you got it. You could be on TV. No problem. Just stay.
Did that allow you to brand yourself a little differently? Because you were now on some highly publicized type of shows. I'm sure it probably helped bring in some more opportunities for you,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I mean, besides doing that, I was doing corporate video. I was doing, and I still do it to this day. Small independent film work, photo shoots. I mean, I'm talking booked, booked, and booked. Unfortunately, this all ended in 2007 with a divorce, and I had to close my doors. But I knew someday in my heart that I would reopen, and I had to work on myself to get that strength back to start over again. So in 2007, I started working I was with MSNBC for a short period of time. And then I was with Fox Business, and Fox had offered me a full-time job. And I said yes to it. So I was with Fox from '07 until 2020. Unfortunately, the pandemic,
Yeah.
a lot of us were laid off at Fox. And, it was disappointing, but it was time for me I got pushed out of the nest. It was time for me to go back to my true love, which is teaching and selling product. I'm a natural salesperson. I love it. I'm really an entrepreneur at heart. That's why I loved working at the Fox Business Network, because I met some of the biggest names. I mean, huge. The woman that owns Spanx, the guy that owns Dyson, the guy that owns Virgin Airlines. I mean, you name it. I met some big people, and here's the secret, makeup artist. When you have that cape on, the drape, Shawn, when you go get your hair cut, they drape.
Uh-huh.
I always joke around. I say, I got you hostage. You're in my chair. So I had some amazing business conversations with some of the biggest, most famous business people on the planet. And not just once, but multiple times, because they were repeat guests and they would know me by my name. And it was just so nice. And I got an opportunity to pick their brain a little bit and share about my experience in business. And they would give me advice. And man, did I get some gems. I mean, you'd have to pay these people, I don't know how much money to speak with them. Just incredible. Like Tony Robbins. Are you a fan of Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
He
Yep.
gave me, it's a $10,000 event. I went to Florida to go to his business. I think it was a 3-day event, but people paid $10,000 and he gave me the ticket to go. So and I'm not saying this to impress anybody, but to impress upon you that you got to do things scared, because you could be quiet and meek and not have a conversation, and then opportunity passes you by, right? So you kind of have to have that guts to speak up and talk to people. Mind you, other people at work, and they're lovely and they're wonderful, but they weren't having big conversations with these people. They would just do their makeup, they would get out of the chair and go. I like to sit and talk to them. Sometimes I would go into the green room and sit down with them and have a conversation. So I learned a lot. Every job, every experience you have, if you're young or getting back into the industry, is a learning experience, and it's a block. You're building your
Yep.
blocks. I have a career. I don't have a job. Some people would think of, oh, makeup, it's a job, like it's just something fun. It's a hobby. But no, I mean, I've built a business. I've built a brand, and it's growing. So it is growing, but I hope to be back and bigger than what I was years ago with the classes.
You brought up something that's powerful, as far as, yes, when you get your hair cut, you get your makeup done, you have that little drape thing on. Some people and barbershops are known for this. They sit there and you're talking about anything and everything. Same with makeup. But if you're sitting there, I'm a great makeup artist and I'm only going to do this instead of using this and listening, you're missing out. Like Dawn was saying, you can be in front of a lot of different people. If you had the Tony Robbins or Virgin, I forget his name.
Branson,
Yeah,
right?
Branson, sitting there, and you could ask him about entrepreneurship, how to have mindset, how to fix yourself. Like you mentioned earlier, after your divorce, you had to find yourself or work
Yeah.
on you. What
Yeah.
are some things that you were doing then to better yourself?
So after the business ended, is that your question?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so what was I doing? Wow. So my kids were younger, and I really had to focus on making sure that they were healthy and that school was good for them. So I started focusing more on my family because I was traveling 30 to 36 weeks a year in
Wow.
22 cities. So that was my number one priority, is making sure that my family was taken care of and that they were whole as well. And myself. So therapy, good friends, connection with family. I was regrouping, and I needed to find my tribe. I needed to find people that would build me up and not break me down, because
Yes.
when things fall apart in life, you'd be surprised, especially on the internet and social media. People love kicking you when you're down. And especially when you're successful and you're doing a good thing, they love to spread lies about you, love to say this and that. And that really hurts. It's extremely painful. But I have such a thick skin now. So come on at me, say what you want. I really don't give a So, I know me, I know my truth. I was very young. I was only 33 when I went out of business the first time. I'm now 49. So Dawn has changed. She has put her big panties on, her big girl panties on, and I've grown up, and I know I learned so much from my mistakes, what to do, what to say, what not to say, what to charge, what to not charge, how to manage people. I have an amazing team. How to handle that, how to handle finances, customers, the whole nine yards. So I read a lot. I was like into the library because even though I had an amazing job, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on books. So I would go to the library. I read a lot of business books. Any opportunity that came up, like I said, with Tony Robbins, or there were so many others, I grabbed it, and I grabbed it with both hands, and I held tight. I was white knuckling it. I wanted my success back so bad. And one thing I say to my customers, that I say to my team, I'm obsessed. And I think any entrepreneur, if you're truly passionate about what you do and you really want to be successful and you love what you do, you're obsessed. My dream, if I don't follow my dream, Shawn, it becomes my nightmare.
Yep.
I have to follow my dream. I have to do what I believe God has sent me to do on this planet. When I leave this planet, I want to leave it a better place. And I believe in my heart that my mission here is to create something extraordinary in the beauty industry, which I am. My curriculum is so unique. No one on the planet has it. No, I've read all the major cosmetology and makeup school training manuals, and no one has what I have.
I like what you said as far as being obsessed, but I like to circle back. You actually, when you reflected on life before, you wanted to focus on family. And that's a huge thing. A lot of people want to make all this money. It's
No,
work,
no.
work, work. They work 90 hours, but I got you the house. I got you the car. You're in this private school. You're in this, but you're not you. You're not around. And that's
You
a
know how I
problem.
knew that, Shawn? You know how I knew that? Because I was already obtaining those things, but my personal life was a wreck.
Right.
So money doesn't necessarily, now money's wonderful and
You
it
need
does
it.
a lot.
Right.
It opens doors. It's great opportunity. My kids, they all went to great schools, that sort of thing. But the bottom line is, if your home life and your personal life has a lot of issues, which it did, which I'm not going to discuss,
Right. Right. Exactly.
that it doesn't matter how much money you make. So my focus was my health, my mental health, my children. Let's regroup as a family. Let's circle back. And I knew that eventually I would be back in business, because that's all I thought about. That's all I talked about. I'm sure my coworkers and all those business people I talked, they were probably so sick of me. My husband now, who's amazing, was probably getting so sick of me. And finally, he was like, Dawn, you got to do your dream. And he's so, he was always supportive, always, from day one, the day I met him, the day we were dating, always supportive. Recognized that I was a very passionate, obsessive type of person, and he loves that about me. Absolutely loves it. So when it comes to like personal relationship, you need to find the person. You pick the partner, you're responsible. You
Mm-hmm.
pick the partner that builds you up, not breaks you down.
Love it. Builds you up and has the support. I liked how you mentioned about learning. We could always be learning. We could always pick up something from somebody and share it with yourself, your family, your team, what have you. Let's go down the path of you opening up your new shop and how that, some challenges that you might have had.
Wow. Yeah. So this store, we took the lease in April of 2021. So heels of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
The store officially opened June 26th, and it is a very slow start. We've been in business 2 years. Don't expect entrepreneurs when you first start a business, especially a brick and mortar, that you're going to make tons of money. There are going to be days where you flatline, but it's those days that's where you regroup,
Mm-hmm.
so that's when you work on your computer, you work on ideas, you have business meetings, you take a class. You have to keep it positive, because if you don't, it can be really, really hard. And I say this to my husband, and he's also an entrepreneur too. He has his own business as well. And also to my team, to my kids, your lows can be so low and only you can pull yourself out of it. It could cause a lot of mental anguish, a lot of depression and anxiety. And you feel like that imposter, like, what am I doing? This isn't going to work. No, no one believes in me. Business ownership, entrepreneurship is lonely. It is lonely because it's all up in your head. And it doesn't matter if 100 people tell you that you're great. If you don't believe that you're great, if up here is all messed up, you're going to give up. You cannot give up. Never, 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 never give up. Now, with that being said, have I cried? Absolutely. Have I gotten scared? Absolutely. But I persevere. I pick myself up, whether it go for a run in the park or get my butt to the gym or just call my best friend Karen, like talk to my husband. Like, I have my circle, I have my tribe of people that I can confide in, that I trust, that I can share, I can cry with, I can have anxiety. I could, I've never done this, but punch the wall with, and,
Yep.
Shawn,
Take
right?
the stress out. Yeah.
This is a risk.
Mm-hmm.
So when employees come in mid business or customers come in mid business and they're like, wow, you're so successful, you're this and that, but you didn't know what it was like the first years when I was starting out. You didn't know what it was like when I was writing all that stuff down and my kids were really little and they're like, Mom, take us to the park, or we're hungry. And you're like, okay, drop everything, but bring your notebook to the park. So while they're swinging, I'm writing things down. An entrepreneur is 24/7. Our brains are wired to be busy and to want success. And I'm not just talking about money success. I'm talking about true fulfillment where you're passionate and you love what you do, and no matter what, you're going to do it and you just don't care. It's a huge, huge risk. So if you're an entrepreneur and you feel the pain right now and the strife, Shawn and I are here to tell you, you got to just grind it out. You got to have the grit. When you're at the 1,000th push-up, you got to do 1,001. You got to do, it's always that 1% more. I'm a 1% more. My husband's a 1% more. In fact, we laugh to each other like at night or at the end of the week. We're like, we do more in one day than some people do all month. or in 1 week that somebody would do in like 6 months, because we're always going, going, going. But with that being said, part of our going, going, going is self care and also rest, relaxation, and vacationing. So
Yes.
in the beginning, you may be thinking to yourself, well, I don't have money for a vacation. I'm just getting started. A vacation could just be your home. Set your home up, set your personal space up to be so relaxing. I don't have any clutter in my house. You've seen the inside of my house. There's like
Hmm.
no clutter, there's like nothing, right? It's just very like simple because my brain can't handle clutter. I can't like this, like a lot of stuff around me. I'm like, in my head, right? So my home has to be my oasis. I have to come home to peace, no strife, no drama. It has to be completely like sterile for me. And a lot of entrepreneurs are like that. As you'll hear like the Steve Jobs and the Zuckerberg type of brain, the Elon Musk type. My brain is right there with them. I like simplicity. I want my life to be simple. So if you can't afford a vacation, make your home your vacation spot. Get it cleaned up, get it organized. So at the end of the workday, you can say, not come home and go, oh my God, I have so much stuff to do. That is not going to work because you're burning the candle at both ends. And Shawn, I don't believe in balance. There's no such, throw it out the window. All this
Hmm.
stupid stuff you hear on YouTube, I'm sorry, millennials, but you with your 6 hour
Nap
morning
time.
routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I get up and I journal and then I have my tea and I watch the clouds and like I'm like, who is doing that? I don't know, right, Shawn? I mean, it's like, who the heck does that? That is so not reality. That's to get you to watch some YouTube video. And trust me, I've watched them and I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, I must be the biggest loser because I don't sit and journal for an hour, write down my goals and read 10 chapters and exercise. It's like, the joke is their morning routine goes to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Like if that's a morning routine, it's just ridiculous. So throw the thought out about balance. There's no such thing. You're going to be juggling like crazy. If you're a mom like I am now, my kids are older. My youngest is 23. So, I'm pretty much free from mommy duty.
Right.
But there's no balancing. You're either all in with your kids, you're either all in with your job, you're either all in cleaning out the garage. There's no like, the brain can't do 2, 3 things at the same time. You got to focus on the one thing.
That's a huge thing right there, guys. Focusing, being present 100% on that topic or what. If you're at work, you're working. If you're at home, you're at home. You're not mixing. I like that. That's something that people should be jotting down. Those are some massive, massive value. Dawn, can you give us, let's manifest.
Okay.
I want to bring more people. I want to bring people into that shop. I'm
Yeah.
going to come into that shop too, but
I know. We have
I
our
wanna-
networking party next week.
yes,
We do a networking party every single month. It's on the calendar all through 2024. We picked all our dates. It's on makeupclasses.com.
I will try to definitely get it. So tell everybody,
Yeah.
tell them what they're going to get when they come in. Who are you looking to help? Are you looking for more brides? Are you looking for young up and coming, those that are thinking about into going to makeup? Go to you first. Are you that? Talk about that.
So
Let's end on that.
I do makeup as well. I also do hair styling because I am a licensed hairstylist. So that was another thing I was working on when I was younger, working on my cosmetology license.
Skills.
Yep. Yeah. So while you're at work, keep learning, always enroll in classes, certifications, all that stuff. It's be a lifelong learner. So we teach classes for professionals. I have a 20 and a 40-hour class. It is amazing, revolutionary. I get kids, adults from different makeup schools that come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I've learned more from you in 2 hours than I did in my entire program. So we have a revolutionary curriculum. It's hardcore. It's like a boot camp. Like I drive it in. I want you to master the science of makeup artistry. We do services. So we do bridal service, any special occasion. We have people that come in, they're going to a birthday party, they have a barbecue. Whatever the event is, we do makeovers. We also do a service called Lash and a Dash. We are an Ardell distributor. That's a lash company. And that's where you purchase the lash. We apply it for free. So that's a wonderful service. And of course, we sell products. We have an array of products, mostly American made products, because I believe in supporting the small business owner here
Yeah.
in the United States. So those are our three major revenue areas: classes, services, and products. So stop on by 291 Franklin Avenue, Nutley, New Jersey.
We're gonna get some more people. We're gonna flood those doors. I know there's brides out there. There's
Yeah.
young girls that are going to proms and dances and all
We
those.
do beautiful work, beautiful, absolutely perfect, gorgeous work. Amazing. Yes. And we're a legit business. We're not just a Instagram account that you can book a makeup artist. We are a legit business. We are fully insured. So you get an agreement, a legal contract for your wedding. It's not fly by night. Like, unfortunately, we're starting to see on the internet, everybody claims to be a makeup artist in business. You're not in business unless you have a business license and you carry insurance. So
Yes.
we do.
Now, Dawn, you dropped some massive value. I appreciate you coming on. Guys, being an entrepreneur, she took 30 minutes out of her day just to spend it with you, to teach, to educate, to give golden nuggets. We hope you take some action. You take what we're talking about, implement it. And if it works for you, reach out to her, reach out to me, drop a comment. If you have questions at all for her, for me, drop them in the comments. We will definitely get back to you. And all her contact information is in the description. Check it out. Check out her website. And Dawn, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure, Shawn. I love seeing you. My love to your wife and all the kiddos at home. And have a great summer, rest of your summer.
Likewise. And I'll see you soon. We'll make a point to get down there. So, Dawn, as always, and everyone else that's popping in here, gonna have to wait till this uploads. We hope you have an awesome rest of your day.